Okay, I'm going to call to order the Town of Andover Board of Selectmen special meeting for Monday, December 22nd, 2025 at 7:03 p.m. Our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Um, as a point of order, I'm going to move to 2E to start with because we have the assessor who is staying late today. Um, and I was hoping that John could fill us in as to what the status is in his office related to assistance and what he needs so that we can better understand the memorandum of understanding. So, John, have at
Good evening.
it.
So I think everyone's well aware that we lost our assistant assessor. And, the model that we work under here in Andover is 34 hours a week, full time with the assistant assessor. And then I'm here part time on a limited basis, about 5 hours a week in the office. And this time of year, typically we put in some extra hours in order to get the grand list filed. But at this point, having lost her the first week in November, I'm already short 240 hours of clerical work in the office. She has actually helped out with a few things and probably did maybe 6 or 8 hours worth of work um, since the departure. But there's no way we can get everything done on time with just me here on such a limited basis. So where we stand right now is we've already requested a 1 month extension from the state of Connecticut to file the grant list. And it will be really hard to do that even by the end of February and get everything that's taxable on the list. Um, the supplemental motor vehicle bills are usually out. They're due January 1st typically. Those are going out late. They're not going to go out until January. So they're going to go out a little bit late. And that gets a little problematic because our tax collector has a vacation that was planned, more than a year ago. She's gone from February 5th to February 22nd. So we're getting into a little bit of a sticky wicket there where these bills can be going out and due at a time when she wouldn't even be here. Um, I did reach out, and put some feelers out to see if anybody would be willing to come in here and help out. I did forward two offers to Jim Bolano. One was looking for 140 an hour, the other one at 150 an hour. Um, the union rep apparently made an offer to the town to have the assistant assessor help out in the filing of the grand list. And that MOU is before you, so that's another option. We have saved about $1,000 a week in salary and benefits since her departure. So if the board approves this, there's certainly funding for it. It's not going to put us over budget. I don't know what other questions I can answer for you guys.
You talk about status of the interviewees?
No, I
Yeah.
guess it's completely separate issue.
Okay.
I mean, we have been interviewing, but I mean, even if we bring someone in, they're going to have absolutely no experience. So, honestly, they'll almost be there twiddling their thumbs a little bit in the beginning because not knowing how to use the software programs, not understanding the law, not understanding what we do. Do I stop and try to teach them something, or do we try to get everything on the grand list that we possibly can?
Is the 10 hours going to be sufficient for you to get done what you need done?
I mean, more would be great, uh, but 10 hours from 10 hours from coming from the person who's worked in that office for the last 13 years, who knows where everything is, and versus bringing someone else in, even though they might be certified and have 20 or 30 years of experience, they're not going to do as much work in the time frame that she could do it. I would love for it to be more than 10 hours, but I don't know that she can give that. Her plan was to stay 1 hour a day, Tuesday through Thursday, and then come in Friday for 4 or 5 hours. Um, knowing her, she probably would do even more than that, even though it says, approximately 10 hours. But we definitely are in a dire situation. And, um, you know, we really need the help from someone to get the grand list, filed. Then at some point, like Jim said, we've been doing the interviews, we're going to offer the position to somebody and hire somebody. Um, your training is really difficult when they're here 34 hours and I'm only here 5. There's a bunch of things I have to get done. When Roberta was first hired, 13 or 15 years ago, she was hired during the month of May. And we contracted with Bolton and brought Barry over here, who was their assistant. She was training Roberta. It was also a slower time of the year, right after the grand list is filed and the Board of Assessment Appeals is done, and before your bills go out in July. It's a really great time. So I mean, training will be an issue, as well. It's not that like we haven't seen this before or gone through it before, but it really is, in my opinion, kind of a dire situation.
Okay, do any of the other members have any questions for the assessor? Okay,
Possible to, is it possible to, excuse me, find somebody from another town to help out for a while?
Well, so we have sort of two issues. The first one is getting this brand list, filed um, by the end of February. So, one of the biggest tasks the assistant assessor position handles is the personal property. They do all the mailing, receiving, reconciling, and data entry for the personal property declarations, which is all the business taxable property. Those aren't even due till November 1st, because November 1st was a weekend. They were due November 3rd. And, on November 5th, she was gone. Also, a lot of people had till December 15th because they took an extension to file them. So there's just so much work that needs to be done immediately. And otherwise, there's stuff we're not going to be taxing. So could we bring someone in from another town? Yeah, I got 2 offers of people to help. They wanted 140 and 150 an hour. So I mean, at 140, 10 hours is $1,400, and they don't know the office cold like she does, and they probably would be working at a slightly slower pace just till they got up to speed on where everything is and whatnot. We definitely need some help. I mean, listen, I don't mind helping, and I am. I've taken a couple vacation days and I'm putting in more time here, but still, it's not going to happen without, some extra assistance. So the first thing is really just to get that grand list filed. Then we have to talk about, what we can do to help bring the new employee along, because they're going to have absolutely no experience in that office. They don't understand Connecticut law, what's taxable, what's exempt, all the different applications. They don't know how to use the computer systems.
okay, anyone else? All right,
How are you?
listen, it only seems to make sense that we sit there and consider this. I'm not sitting there saying that we do it right now because I know we just got the documentation. I know we need to do it quickly. So, um,
I just have.
Dennis, if that's you, can you mute, or Jim, can you mute them? All right. Um, okay. So, we definitely need to sit there and provide some assistance to the assessor and to that office. So we have to figure out a way to do it. He would be in the best position to let us know how to get that done. I don't really think, other than potentially negotiating with Roberta in the union, that would probably be what we need to do. Anybody?
Looks like it to me.
Carol? Jeff?
Yeah, the other selectmen have any questions about this, or do you have, are you on board with this? So when we bring it back in 2 weeks?
All right, well, let's move on because, John, thank you very much for taking the time. Appreciate it.
You
Um,
guys are saying we're gonna go another 2 weeks without anybody in that office? I,
no, but it doesn't appear, John, that we're going to sit there and have a group that wants to vote on this tonight, unless I'm mistaken. Carol? Jeff?
and that's okay. I just feel like I have a duty and responsibility to say, I can guarantee there will be things that won't be taxed this year. And I just, I can show you where I was texting Eric for permission to post the vacancy on November 5th. And it just kept getting dragged out and dragged out and dragged out. I don't know what other word to use besides dire. So I just want to make sure I'm on the record as saying that that's what we're looking at.
Understood.
Okay.
Where
Thank
are
you.
we at with the hiring process?
We conducted all the interviews and, we may be done. I'm not sure. We just did the last one maybe an hour or so ago. So
Okay.
we did we did a bunch last Thursday and we just wrapped up tonight. So that's,
And Jeff, maybe tomorrow you come in, we can talk about process, that approval process. It's not a department level, but yeah, we'll talk
Are we
about it.
are we close to selecting a candidate, or is there somebody that's stuck out that you guys probably are going to go forward and make an offer to?
I don't know if it's okay. Is it okay to talk about this here?
Oh,
That's
I just, you don't have to talk about the names. I'm just trying to put the timeline together because if we bring somebody on a temporary basis and you say we have to get them up to speed and they don't know the system and everything, I just don't know what it's going to gain us if we're going to hire somebody right away and we figure out what the start date is. I mean, I don't really want to spend time training somebody twice on the systems.
So there's one candidate that has some relative experience, someone who is a title searcher. Obviously, one of the
Oh yeah,
biggest.
yeah, just say you got a preferred candidate.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
That's why I wasn't sure if I was supposed to say
yeah.
anything.
I wouldn't have tried to do anything that makes them identifiable. I just say, if you have somebody that probably 90% chance that that's somebody you're probably going to move forward and make an offer to, then let's get that ball rolling and let's see when they can start.
We can, but they're going to be standing there, sitting there twiddling their thumbs for the most part, because do I stop and start trying to teach them how to use a computer system, or do I put houses out there that don't have tax bills right now on the tax rolls?
Yeah, but I think that what I'm trying to get at is if we make an offer to that person they accept and we get a start date, I mean we got 2 weeks right now until we get to our next meeting. And if we have to do something for training, we can do it at that point.
I don't, there isn't going to be any training probably between now and the end of February, because you either train or you get everything you can on there. Right now, I guarantee, even if you guys voted on this and approved it tonight, I guarantee there's going to be things that don't make it on the grand list as taxable this year. That's what dire means.
That's not acceptable.
I don't know what else you want to do.
I know everybody thinks that, but why are we getting no responses from some of?
Well, Scott, if we bring somebody in now on a temporary basis, they still have to get up to speed. So we're not going to get anywhere.
No, if we bring someone in, the offers we have for temporary assistance are people who've worked in assessors' offices for years or worked for retail companies for years. They're people who can come in and contribute right away. I mean, they're asking for 140 and 150 an hour, which isn't unheard of. One of them has done this work for 6 other towns. But I mean, we have to do something. I've lost 240 hours already of clerical work since November 6th. I have been pushing this thing. I can show you text messages between me and Eric Anderson from day one. I've been trying to advertise it. I have been all over this. And now we're going to push it out another 2 weeks.
And this is the first I've really heard about it, to be honest with you. It's because it hasn't been communicated to any of the board members.
I've communicated it to my supervisor.
And if this was communicated on November 5th, we could have done something about it right away. And I didn't know it was such a dire, this is the first I've heard that this is some dire situation.
So after,
I can show you
yeah,
the
after
emails.
Eric got it, he did something on November 17th or so, so
I don't really care. I mean,
on the 20th.
I'm kind of with.
I care
I'm
because
kind of-
everybody's
no,
saying
no,
I'm
no, no,
doing
no.
nothing, Jeff.
Listen, I'm kind of
And
with.
I didn't know
I'm
anything
with
about
Jeff
it.
Murray. I am with Jeff Murray that this is new information presented to the Board of Selectmen related to the assessor's office and what is needed. I am not sitting there saying that I'm not willing to do the memorandum of understanding with the union with Roberta. But I am telling everybody here, this is all new to all 5 members.
Yeah.
So whether John, you were communicating to Eric and Eric was on his way out, that's fine. But all right, so we're past this. Now we as a board really should decide what to do related to this. And the only problem I have is we've not negotiated anything related to any of this and haven't had any exposure to any of this. So John is telling us it's $140 or $160 an hour for someone from outside, and it's $60 an hour for Roberta for 10 extra hours a week. And my question was, can we get it done with the extra 10 hours for Roberta? And John is basically telling us we probably have difficulty getting the work done, but we'll get no training done. So now we're going to hire an assistant and not train that person. So that person's going to be twiddling their thumbs, I think John said. And but we are in a bad situation in that we
Who's going
have
to train
to.
that person though? That's what we still haven't answered that.
No, I
Yeah.
get it. We got to answer that one. But
Yeah.
I mean, listen,
All right. Who's gonna train? Who
if Roberta,
trains?
if Roberta can sit there and assist us as a community to get the grand list done, it's in our interests.
And if that's going to happen, it's going to happen after town hall hours are on Friday.
Correct. Yeah,
It's going to be set hours, off hours of her hours that she's currently working.
correct.
The
Has to.
time clock? She'd punch a time clock for that so we notice what the hours she put in are.
Let's do it. I have no problem.
I'll support it if the logs for the if the hours are logged. The hours need to be logged.
It's
Yeah.
fine. John, do you have a problem with that? Is that a problem?
John, me?
Yeah.
Jim has a second monitor here with this document blown up, and I only saw it today for the first time. Number 6 says a log will be kept recording the number of hours worked on any given day to provide evidence of compliance and meeting the weekly hours and work requirements for this agreement.
Okay.
Mm.
So, and what we'll do is we'll request that, um, and I don't, I'm pretty sure she still has a scan on the current payroll time clock. All right. And Carol, I'll ask you this question. Did you ever log in as town clerk? Is she logging in as town clerk?
No,
No, so she's not logging in town clerk. So it won't be like we're having a problem with hours. We'll have her log in for this and go through the time card. All right. Anybody got a problem with that as a workaround to track the hours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still wondering who's gonna train the new person? Who does that when we do hire somebody?
I actually did call Roberta today and I talked to her because I only saw this MOU for the first time when Jim reached out to me maybe around 11 or 12 o'clock this afternoon. And I called her and I discussed it and I asked her if she was willing to train going forward. And she told me this. She said, I love this town. I'll help train the new person going forward and I don't need to get paid anything extra for it. But that is what she told me. So I think because she's here and in the building, she's saying that if the person has questions, going forward, she's willing to help with some of that training. Another thing we can do is both of our software vendors, we can send the employee to their location, their satellite location, and they can get one-on-one training on the individual software. So they get some of that under their belt and they come back if they have a question, she's in the building. They also can call me, they can text me. I'll help out when I can or get back to them on my lunch hour or I am here twice a week. So it's just going to be a slow training process. But trying to train someone right this moment when the most we can get for an extension is 30 days and we only have till the end of February and we haven't even gotten our supplemental motor vehicle list out for last year's grand list. I mean, there's no way it can all get done. And I get what you're saying, Scott, that you say it's unacceptable, but I understand. And I've been talking to Eric about this since September. It's not like we didn't know this was a problem. We worked on the job description. We had it ready to go. And he told me I could post it the very next day. And then when I reached out to him and texted him, he told me to wait. We had to sit on it. He had to get approval. And, all I can do is bring these issues to my boss, and then I have to go with whatever they say.
So can I ask a question? So it's $60 an hour that she's asking to be paid an hour. And then that would be MERS, so she'd be an employee, or would she be a 1099 contractor? Because 60 an hour, then we have to add MERS, we have to add the Social Security, FICA and all that. So just wondering, and are we going to get into an overnight? Dennis is on. I know you muted him, Jeff, but Den, if you could let him, if maybe we could talk to Dennis. I know you like to mute him, but if you could unmute him and
It wasn't that he
let
was
him
talking. He
come
had
in on
background
this.
noise.
Yeah, well, another thing I want to ask, this is a union position. Is it going to be okay with the union that we do this?
It's an
Yeah,
MOU
agreement.
from the union.
Yeah.
And Carol, in regards to the money, we've already saved $7,000 in the.
I understand that, John, and I'm not questioning whether we vote to go over budget on so many things. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying where the $60 an hour, does it put us into an overtime issue because the town clerk's salary is based on a 34-hour work week. Even though she's not punching a clock, it is a 34-hour work week. Now we're adding on 10 extra hours every week, which is going to be going into the MERS. So it's going to cost us, what is it now, 14% for MERS on top of that, Social Security and all that. So are we doing that, or are we going to have her as a 1099 private contractor, $60 per hour? And I
I'll
just want Dennis's input on that one to protect the town.
Yeah.
So Jeff, are you going to unmute for Dennis?
Dennis, can you unmute yourself
I
there?
can't.
I'm asking you to unmute, but it's not.
Dennis, call back in.
Yeah, do that because I'm hitting ask to unmute and nothing's happening.
I just have to say that, my job is the fair administration of the local property tax. And honestly, I wouldn't care if it costs more money, because explaining to somebody how a house doesn't get taxed or something doesn't end up on the tax rolls, I also find unacceptable. But that's where we're headed. There's no way this can all get done in time.
So from the situation that we are currently in, Carol's comments are understood. We have to look at the extra money that we're talking about from that. But it's still going to be way less than the other amounts that John is putting in front of us.
I think 1099 would be the way to go. When I had been rehired back on helping on a job I'd been laid off from, it was 1099. It sounded like a better hourly pay, but because it was 1099, I had to pay my own Social Security, that kind of thing out of it.
Right. And then we wouldn't have all the additional costs, because if it's
Right.
14% on top of the 600, then the Social Security and everything, the town's portion that we have to pay in. If it was going to be a 1099 situation, that I think would be more acceptable.
The only thing, if I could just interject, you would definitely ask Dennis, maybe ask someone on the financial side or Jeff to hire back someone as a consultant that you just let go as a 1099. Sometimes raises a flag, but this is a unique
Well,
situation.
it doesn't raise flags. I'm sure it's
No.
okay. We know
She's still hired as town clerk.
True.
Listen, I have no problem asking Roberta that question, but we need to sit there and make a decision as to what we're going to do. So, if that's the choice of the board, is to ask Roberta to do this as a 1099, it's still $600 with no tax deduction, and then she'd sit there and deal with the issues related to employee, we may also have a problem with that, but that's something that we, as a board, we just have to be aware of. So
Can,
if
can,
that's a choice, let's just move on. Let's give John some resources so we can sit there and get this over with and not have any significant blowback on our grand list
Yes. Yeah.
or a tax list.
Well, Jeff, I was thinking, I kind of was thinking two avenues here, because if this fails at the $60, it's, what are we gonna, we're looking at probably $80 an hour if we're doing social security and mirrors, right? Because we're looking at 14 plus 6.25 for social security. Correct? That's what the real cost is gonna be. It's gonna be $80 an hour because she's gonna get no benefits because she's
Yeah,
part-time.
let's sit there and say you had 15% for Social Security and Medicare, and then you had the pension. So you're probably looking at an extra 20%, so it's $12, so 72 to $80. I'm not sitting there saying you're wrong, but we just need to sit there and do something.
$60 less than 140.
So if the goal is to sit there and ask her for that, let's get it approved so we can ask her for that. And then if we have to negotiate with uh, Roberta, we can.
Do you want to just make a motion for not to exceed?
You guys make the motion that you want because, like, I mean, what I'm saying, Jeff, is not in the negative. Like, make the motion to pay her as a 1099, and if you want to make it a motion for it not to exceed, like, let's say a set period of time. So let's say
I would just say like $75 an hour, 1099, $75 an hour. Um, you know, for the period of 6 weeks.
Okay.
3 weeks, John.
I would sit there and probably move it through February, but
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, John, what is this, John? Just from your standpoint, before we even get into training? So before we get into training, what is your need like for Roberta to work those hours? Is it 3 months? Is it 2 months?
I would say it would be till like around February 10th or so, because we got to get the grand list filed, and then we got to get the docs off to the printing company to have the book printed. We have to get the increase notices out. I would say like till February, no later than February 10th.
How about will the board be, I know he says February 10th, but if we sit there and say not to go past the end of February or February 28th or whatever the end of the month.
I'm sorry. I meant March 10th. We have till the end of February to file the grand list. I was saying till March 10th. When we have to get the increase notices out by March 10th. I would say March 10th would be the date.
Okay, then just end it on March 10th if that's the case, because I knew there was a February deadline. So
Dennis,
Jim, the motion would be to pay that through March 10th, or not to go past March 10th, and we move on.
Dennis is waiting for the host to let him in.
What is our host doing? Come on, Jim. Technology, my friend.
You dropped off.
Is he owner though?
Hello.
There.
He's owner.
Can you?
Yeah, he's owner.
Yeah, I'm owner, all right. I'm something
Okay.
else. I'm a lot of things.
Dennis, so this issue related to
Yeah,
extra hours for the town clerk in the assessor's office.
yeah. The only problem I have is that this is a result of a deal you made with the union, right?
Yep.
I mean, I would, I don't.
Oh, and just be aware when you say deal made with the union, um,
Yeah,
John, I'm assuming that you had discussions with the union related to the current situation within the office, and then this was an alternative that was determined between you, the union, and Roberta. Is that accurate?
I think honestly, what happened was I was seriously concerned that you know, I would be accused of negligence. And I went to the union and I said, we have a serious problem here. I keep talking, but nothing's getting done. So he came in, he met with us. Roberta was here. I think she volunteered. Her and Theo talked quite a bit. The first I saw this MOU, I think you met with Theo last week or something, but the first I saw this was this afternoon. I was going out getting quotes from other people because I thought that's what we were going to have to do. I didn't envision Roberta as being the one that would help the town out. I envisioned hiring someone else like so many other towns do when they're in this situation. You know, one of the persons who gave a quote has worked for 6 different towns in the last 2 years in situations like this.
Okay.
Um,
All
you know,
right.
I think this is really a wonderful thing if this could be put together. But if not, I'm happy to use either one of those other two. But this can't wait. It really can't wait 2 weeks.
Okay. So we understand where this came from and how it got to our doorstep in the future. The hope is that uh, all communication gets through the town administrator and gets to us faster. But where we're at right now is in this situation. So, um, I mean, I personally would just accept the memorandum of understanding or memorandum of agreement. I would do that the way it's written. But if you want to change it and we want to adjust it, um, let's make the motion and get it done.
Want me to do it, Jeff?
Go ahead, Jeff. What?
All right, I'm going to try my best at this. I'll make the motion to hire Roberta Doherty as a 1099 contractor employee at the rate of $75 an hour for 10 hours, which is to be worked opposite hours that the town clerk hours town clerk hours and work are being performed. And those hours are to be logged.
Okay, and then give a deadline.
And the deadline would be March 10th, 2026.
Okay, I'll second that. Any further discussion? All right, let's vote on that. Anne? Anne's a yes. Carol Lee?
I'm going to abstain.
Okay. Jeff Murray?
Yes.
Scott Person? Scott's a yes as well. Jeff McGuire, yes. So 401. And we will sit there and reach out to Roberta and make sure that that is acceptable to where we're at. All right. John, thank you for staying. Appreciate it. But in the future, can you also go through Jim if you have any issues and make sure that we're made aware of anything that becomes problematic in your office? It would help. All righty, where are we at? So we're going up to item 2A, whether to approve the request of the board clerk, Marina Pandolfi, to be considered an employee of the town or to remain as an independent contractor. So Marina has made a request to become an employee. In all technical purposes, she is an independent contractor because she's not under the control of the town. She does all the work at her home. She does it on her computer and everything else. So it's a question if somebody wants to make the motion to make her an employee or not.
Question, Jeff, have we ever had anybody in this role as an employee? Ever?
I can't recall anyone. The only one that I know may have fallen into the employee status is at the beginning of my term. Bob Burbank had his assistant doing a lot of the minutes, but I'm not sure how she was compensated. I don't know if she got compensated through payroll or she got compensated through a 1099.
I mean, it's always been a stipend. I would prefer to just keep it a stipend situation.
Okay, then we're not going to make the request. And then just so the board is
Unless anybody else wants to make a motion, that's all.
well, no, if anyone wants to make a motion, let's go. If not, then I'm just making everyone aware that we're going to probably have to look for a board clerk to sit there
Yeah.
and insist.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and it's fine. Scott, I don't believe we should make her an employee, to be really honest. So I'm already prepared. I think we have to prepare for that. We just, as a board, have to know that come January 1st, we're going to have to sit there and do something different.
A lot of
And
our board,
listen, all of our meetings are transcribed. The reason why we now vote by roll call is to make the transcription information easier on the person doing the minutes. Um, with technology, this entire thing should get easier, not harder.
I mean, it's my impression that, if we open this up to somebody in town that, if she decides she doesn't want to do it anymore, it's something that somebody could do in their spare time from their home. So
Mhm.
I think if we open it up to the residents in town, I'm sure we would find a few people that would probably be interested.
Okay. All right. I have no problem with that. Can we move on to 2B or anybody want to stay on this one? Okay, we'll move on to 2B, whether to approve as written or amended the draft rental agreement for use of the communities and community/senior center. So,
Jeff, I looked at this just briefly, and one major issue I have with it is that there should be an exemption list on this document for the Boy Scouts and other organizations, because I don't think we should be charging those people. So we need to identify the organizations in town that we do not want to charge a fee for.
okay.
And those
So,
are for their, and it would be for their direct events only. Like they can't use, like somebody couldn't use the Boy Scouts or another organization to have, like the back door or something. It would have to be for like,
Yeah.
they want to do the Pinewood Derby or something like that at the community center, they'd be able to. And like I said, I saw it said nonprofits. And I think a lot of those organizations fall under nonprofits, but I'd like to single out and identify some of those organizations in town that could
Yeah,
use it.
that'd be good. Because I
Like the,
guess like the
like
rec
the,
commission didn't have to pay yesterday. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. So we
okay.
probably ought to have that category on there about
yeah,
the,
like the following organizations are exempt from fees and
yeah. Yeah, Tess is on if you want to ask her anything.
I mean, that's just my suggestion right now. I think the fees are acceptable. I just would like to have, a list of exempted organizations in town that we could, not charge a fee for.
Okay, so just so we understand that exempted organizations really mean the use of the building, not use of anything else. If they use anything else, they use the kitchen or anything like that, they pay, correct?
Well, I mean, what are we going to do about the senior lunch program?
Well,
That should be exempted.
the senior lunch program is exempted because it's part of the whole town program.
Yeah, but
You're
the thing is, it
asking
falls
for
under, but
you're asking for non-town organizations that benefit people in town. So I'm okay with that. I'm just asking, where does it end for an exempt organization like the Boy Scouts? Is it just the building?
I
Is it
would
just
say,
the room or is,
base.
yeah.
yeah, if
But
they want to do a fundraiser or something and use the kitchen, that would be a different story. But if they're going to use it for meetings or events, that'd be fine.
okay. And so do we want to approve this with the understanding that we're going to give a list to Tess of exempt organizations and we give it to her next month at our January meeting? So that everybody can list out the organizations that would be potentially exempt within town?
Yeah, I think we should all brainstorm and come up with some list, and then at the next meeting in January, whittle it down to what we feel is appropriate.
Okay. So, because I didn't necessarily have any problems with the dollar per hour rental on the the facility. What I probably had more of a problem with was um, the deposit should be returned probably 48 hours after review of the facility to make sure that the facility is in good state.
Mm, Yeah,
So
An an escrow deposit.
yeah. Um,
I just want to say, for example, like the PTA had the babysitting, the kids' night, the parents' night out event a week ago. That would be an organization I would exempt.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Come up with a list of exempt organizations. We'll sit there and go through it. And, um, obviously this is a learning and, we're going to have a learning curve and we're going to understand, some of these exempt organizations might work and some might not. And Tess and her staff are going to tell us that this worked and this didn't. So we can always modify the exempt organization list down the road.
Yeah, we can always modify it as necessary, but I just don't want to keep those. I don't want to put those organizations out in the cold.
Yeah.
Not be able to use the facility
Right.
without charging them.
So is there anything that anyone had related to the rest of the document that needed to be adjusted?
Yeah, could I say something?
Sure, go ahead, Dennis.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Um, I'm glad to see there's paragraphs in here about excusing us from liability. But to me, it needs to be strengthened. It only applies to whoever applies. And I'm always concerned about, a lot of towns require insurance for any organization that uses town property. Also, you would want you would want the person who is signing for the organization to at least say they're authorized to sign for the organization and exempt. But you're going to have individuals there, and I'm just concerned about liability. I'd like to strengthen that if I can.
So,
I've
so,
written a lot of these before, and I have.
so, Dennis, is anyone have a problem with the hourly rates? The number one thing. No, everybody good? Okay,
No.
then Dennis, can you take a look at this and sit there and see what language that you would propose to sit there and put in this from a liability standpoint? And then we can sit there and talk, Jeff Murray and everybody else, as to the exempt organizations and have this ready to go at our January meeting and get it done. Is that acceptable to everybody?
Works
And
for me.
Tess, since we're engaged, what do you got? You got your
I
hand up.
just want to say that what we've been finding is that in private use, um, perhaps an adjustment to the contract would be having someone stay on site until the event is finished so that there would be no damage during the occasion. That has been brought up to from a couple of different people because there have been children in and out of the kitchen and in and out of the lounge that has damaged puzzles and different things like that. So just just wanting to throw that out there,
So
see what you guys have to
are you
say.
stating someone from the town side should be there for the
I'm
duration, or is it
stating
someone from
that
the organization?
I'm stating that perhaps someone be hired from to stay on site or before and after, just to make sure that everything is clear, so that all rules are followed appropriately from the contract, and that would be in addition to the contract as well. So that proposal has been brought to Haley and I just want to bring that forward to you, that that might be an additional option to the contract.
Yeah,
And when,
yeah, Jeff, and I spoke to this a few months ago. I think when we first started this, that like we trained a half a dozen people that would open and close it
Mhm.
and verify. And then that would be built into this fee structure. And they would get paid a stipend out of that. And
Correct.
that's what they do. Like Glastonbury does that a lot with their like JB Williams Park and things. They have retirees that go and open up the facility for picnics and parties, and then they go at the end and close it all up and make sure everything's left in a satisfactory condition.
Right, and that would be an additional charge to the person that is, um, that would be a private event. And so hopefully we know that our nonprofit organizations would follow the rules, but that has not been always the case, but definitely assuming pure motive and exactly what Jeff had said, that perhaps there would be an additional charge for somebody to be on site.
so it would be a per hour charge and then an opening and closing fee.
Correct.
Yeah, that's something I would like to work into it. And then another thing, like I said, Tess, I'm just trying to read through this on my phone because I came upstairs and my monitor was busted on my computer. So my camera and my monitor is broken. So I'm trying to read this off my phone. And I'm just trying to get through it. And does this have any thing about alcohol or anything of no alcohol allowed or anything like that in this
There is not
document?
anything about alcohol.
Yeah, because that could open up a can of worms because we gotta have,
Correct.
yep. So that's
But
another thing we
but
should discuss.
yeah, we did present that several months ago. That hasn't been approved by the board, so we're just waiting for the board to approve yes to alcohol, no to alcohol.
Yeah.
All right, so let's sit there and do that and then sit there and Um,
So I got
That's,
some homework for Tess. Are you in contact with any of the community center directors or staff?
Yes, I am on a regular basis.
Can you, just a little homework for you for the next meeting. Is there any way you can poll the other community centers and see what their policy is?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. Do you want me to give that to you, Jeff, or do you want me to give that to the entire board? What would you
Well,
prefer?
yeah, if you just next week or the week out before our meeting, just if you just polled a bunch of people and then just send us an email saying, oh, these are my findings.
Yep, you
And then at
got
the
it.
next meeting, we can make a decision, educated decision, what we want to do.
You got it.
And then I'd
Yes,
want to poll
I'd like
Dennis
to
as
get a
well
copy of that also.
and
Yeah.
poll Dennis.
Yep.
Yep.
You got it. And Dennis, if you could just also send that extra liability,
Yeah,
we can add that too.
yeah, I'm gonna look at all of it. I think I think you made a really good start with this test. But there's a lot of different, I don't know enough about how many, what do you plan? How many groups are going to be using it? I mean, you're going to be overwhelmed with this. You got to be careful.
Yep,
So
absolutely. Yep.
what is the capacity of the building in terms
The
of
capacity is,
fireworks?
yeah, the capacity for seating is, I believe, 60. If it's standing room only, I believe it's 128.
Yeah, got to be careful with alcohol too.
And that's inside and outside, by the way. So if we have a picnic or a concert outside, if we have a food truck or something like that, that's
Yeah,
definitely to be considered.
sure. There's a lot to be considered.
I've hired a few trucks in the past, and some of them have their own liquor license, so they're responsible for serving on their own.
Correct.
okay. So we're going to sit there and push this part of this to our next meeting as well. So that's to be moved to.
I just have one more question. How did you arrive at these fees? Is this something that you polled some of the other community centers over and kind of got a running average?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Haley did a lot of the research, and so that was something that I would have been a little bit more lenient, but she had checked into different facilities and what their rate was, and so we compromised a little bit, and so um, that was what we agreed on.
Yeah, I just don't want to undercut other towns because everybody, the word's going to get out. Oh, Andover's cheap to have a event, so we'll just go there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally understand. So
Yeah.
I am in contact with all the other directors of the senior centers in the entire state of Connecticut. And so I can definitely send that email out and find out what they're doing.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. We're going to move on to 2C, whether to address concerns raised by Tess Grouse during the December 8th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. Number 1 or I, approval of community and senior center director job description. So in our packet, we have,
Page 11.
yeah, page
Yeah.
11 is the first one. That's the revised job description, and then there's, I believe, the original one for the 12, 13, 14, where the job description posted for the hiring. So does anyone have anything that they want to change on page 11?
Give me 1 second. I have to scroll on my phone.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I really want to get Jeff. I really want to get some time to look at this. Like you said, this got out at around 3:30 today, so I don't think any of us have really had a chance to look at this stuff.
Um, okay, let's sit there and say we approve these at our next meeting, the 2 job descriptions. I do want to vote on 3 and 4. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so the
Yeah.
other 2 plus and the Venn diagram, I guess it is.
Mm-hmm.
Those are things that we should sit there and address internally and get done for our next meeting. So please review those, and if anybody has any issues, let's get those addressed before our next meeting in January. All right, so this goes down to page um, page 19. So Tess had PTO, 117 hours of PTO for the fiscal year. And Tess, has that changed slightly or is it still 117? Sorry.
Sorry. Um, Tell me again your question, Jeff.
The treasurer's office, the finance department gave us that Tess is owed 117 hours of PTO currently.
That's correct.
Okay. And the finance department gave us an hourly rate of 34.76 per hour. Is that accurate?
That is, to my knowledge, that is correct.
Okay. So I'll just make sure I do the math because I did this, but I'll do it again. 4.76 times 1.7. $4,066.92. So I'm going to make a motion that we authorize the treasurer, the finance department to pay out Tess Grouse for her 117 hours of paid time off before the end of before at the next payroll cycle. And I'm hopeful. I'll make a motion that we authorize the finance department to pay Tess Grass out for 117 hours of PTO at a total of $4,066.92.
Second that, Jeff.
All right. Further discussion. What I was trying to say is, when's the next payroll cycle, Tess? It's before the end of the year. You're on mute.
You're mute.
Oh, sorry.
Before the end of the year.
Yes,
It is, yeah, but what I'm after is there another cycle before the end of the year?
just, that would be Wednesday. Time cards are due this Friday, so that would be Wednesday.
It
End of
would-
this week.
There is, Jim? I'm
Yeah,
just
the
make
end
sure.
of this week,
because-
right? There's payroll on Monday. You have
Okay.
payroll due Friday, end of this week, right? Tess?
Okay.
Payroll is due on the 26th.
Yeah.
Pay is due, I believe, on Wednesday, the 31st,
Okay.
or, yeah.
Okay. Jim,
Yeah,
can you just
Thursday's a holiday.
yeah. Can you just verify that that gets to Chris and that gets done?
Absolutely.
Approve it. All right.
Yep.
Okay. So Scott seconded it. Does anybody else have any other issues related to this?
I just was wondering, she's not under the union though, is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, because I noticed in the union thing that was in our packet is saying that people can keep up to 5 days carried over, but I guess Tess isn't able to do that.
No, she is. And we were going the two things, Ann. We were going to attempt to sit there and allow her to roll over 117 hours, but because of the situation with Tess from last year, it's almost impossible for her to take all that time.
I know this year she can't. I just didn't know about her say
So
if she wanted to carry any of it over. I don't know. It's
she
okay
has the
with me
right, she
either
has the
way.
right to carry over a week,
Okay,
right?
if she wants.
If she wants.
Okay,
No, well, not even if she wants. She has to. It's like everybody is required to take the necessary amount of time right now. There's a lot of people taking extra leave because
Mm,
they have PTO that they don't want to lose.
right,
So,
okay.
all right,
But
but
this will pay
this is
her back.
because a totally
This is
different issue.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So, um, anybody else have any other issues related to this? Okay, then we'll call a vote. Ann, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Carolee,
Aye.
Jeff Murray,
Aye.
Scott Person,
Aye.
Jeff McGuire, aye. So 5-0. So we'll move that out. Item 2C4, set official start date for designation of municipal agent for elderly and social services for payroll purposes.
I think she should have been paid for it right when we voted to make her the municipal agent and social services, because a lot of the duties of municipal agent were already being handled through the community center. So,
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Carol. The only issue that I have related to that is that Tess wanted time to sit there and review it. So Tess, if you can come back on for 1 second.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So are you all good for handling the role of municipal agent and social services? You all
I
good?
am.
All right. So then, Carol, if we make that motion to retroactively go back, I'm
yes, I
okay.
think that we should.
Okay. So does anybody here know the date that we actually did that?
I think it was our November meeting.
November 20th, I believe.
November 20th. Thank you.
Okay. So,
Yes.
Carol, would you like to make that motion?
Sure. I'd like to make the motion that Tess Grouse be paid retroactive back to November 20th for the municipal agent and social services stipend that was agreed upon in the budget.
Second that.
Ann Cremay has seconded that. Any further discussion on this issue? Okay, we're gonna vote on that. Ann Cremay, how do you vote? Aye. So Ann voted yes. Carol Lee,
I,
Jeff Murray,
Aye.
Scott Person. Scott Person voted yes. Jeff McGuire, yes. So 5-0. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. 2D, item 2D, weather, and Tess, enjoy the party. Okay. Merry Christmas. 2D, whether and if so, to what extent to approve the request made by Selectman Lee on behalf of former Assistant Town Clerk Brittany Comstock seeking retroactive lump sum payment to Ms. Comstock for hours she worked as acting town clerk during calendar year 2025.
so we all received the spreadsheet
Mhm.
that was sent on Sunday, and excellent job on that spreadsheet with the hours and showing the difference in pay. So the total would be $7,948.15.
Okay.
So did you want me to make a motion? Did you want to talk about what was in the spreadsheet?
Well, I would talk about that and then what's in our package and then determine if we want to push this to our January meeting because
Yeah, I was prepared to kind of make a decision on this tonight, but
Me
after
too.
the packet came out, I think we need to consult with Dennis, and I think we need to take this up at our January meeting,
Mm.
unfortunately.
And I don't, and honestly, I'm with Jeff Murray because I did not know that there was a memorandum.
I did not know either till 3:19 today.
What memorandum are we talking about?
There's a
In the
memorandum
packet?
between the union and
page,
Eric.
page 50 that Eric had signed with the union
Back in
related
July.
back. Actually, he had to do
Mhm.
this before that. Anyway, we need to sit there and that needs to be evaluated. So, um, if no one minds, I would appreciate it if everybody could review this. We could get with Dennis and then we could bring this up in our January board meeting. Anybody got a major
Okay.
problem with it?
Yeah, I hate pushing it off, but when I saw that MOU, I think we really need to examine it.
Okay.
For what it's worth, I agree. I just saw that today also, and you know, I think this is fairly complicated.
Okay. All right. So if no one really has a major problem with that, I would like to do that.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Um, Carol, are you okay with that? And so we can put it on our January meeting and get it done because either way we'll get it.
I don't think I have a choice in being okay with it, do I?
Well, we would have to vote on it again if three people voted no.
And it
So
would just be wasting
wasting your
time
time.
because
Okay.
I'm sure.
So we already did item E and speaking to the assessor. So now we're on to item 3, which is adjournment. And before we leave, I'd like to wish everybody a happy Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and
You too as well.
Thank
Merry
you. Same to
Christmas to
you.
everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Yes.
All right, so I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
Second.
Scott Person seconded. He beat you in, Carol.
That's
All
okay.
those in favor, we'll all go aye.
Aye.
5-0.
Aye.
aye.
All right, thank you.